Rejection is a sting that lingers, especially for those who lack the strength to process it. When you closed the door on them, they didn't simply walk away. They hovered just beyond the threshold, peering through cracks, obsessed with what lies on the other side. These individuals are not merely bystanders in your life, they are silent spectators, consumed by a need to track every move you make. The question isn't why they're watching, it's why they can't stop. For them, rejection isn't just a dismissal, it's a statement. It tells them they weren't enough, whether as friends, partners, or collaborators. And while you moved forward, carrying the weight of your decisions, they remained tethered to the past, unable to sever the cord. Their fixation isn't about you. It's about what your rejection represents. Their inadequacies magnified under the harsh spotlight of your success. This is the paradox of rejection. It breeds obsession in the heart of the insecure. They tell themselves they're keeping tabs on you to understand where you went wrong, but the truth is darker. They watch because they're hoping to find proof that you, the chosen one, are fallible. Their gaze becomes a form of surveillance, but it's not motivated by curiosity alone. It's a craving to confirm their belief that your rejection was a mistake. We see this behavior everywhere. Think of the scorned friend who suddenly becomes your harshest critic, scrutinizing your life as if searching for flaws. Or the ex who watches your every post, not to remember the good times, but to see if you're happier without them. This fixation isn't limited to personal relationships. It's universal, spanning workplaces, social circles, and even family dynamics. The need to watch you stems from their inability to reconcile two conflicting realities, the rejection they felt and the power you exude. When they see you thrive, it serves as a constant reminder of what they lost. Their fixation isn't admiration, it's resentment wrapped in unresolved emotions. You've become a mirror reflecting back their unhealed wounds. But why is it so hard for them to look away? Because deep down, they believe that by staying connected to your story, they're still part of it. Watching you isn't just an act of obsession, it's an act of self-preservation. They convince themselves that by knowing what you're doing, they're somehow staying relevant in a life that no longer includes them. What they don't realize is that their attention is an unintentional tribute to your power. Every moment they spend stalking you, analyzing your every move, is a moment that fuels your rise. Their obsession is not your downfall. It's evidence of your influence. While they cling to the past, you're shaping the future, untethered by their judgment. And so they watch, unable to look away, their resentment growing with every milestone you reach. They hoped your rejection of them would lead to your failure. But instead, they've become unwilling witnesses to your greatness. Rejection breeds obsession in the heart of the insecure, a truth they live every single day. Drop a comment. They will watch me rise. If you've ever felt like your rejection became someone else's obsession. When you turned away from them, their initial reaction wasn't sadness, it was fury. This wasn't the quiet, reflective anger of someone who seeks understanding. It was a volatile storm fueled by pride, ego, and an overwhelming sense of inadequacy. They didn't just feel rejected, they felt humiliated, and humiliation demands vengeance. For them, your choice wasn't about compatibility or mutual growth. It was a personal attack. In their eyes, your decision to exclude them wasn't just a rejection of their presence, but a denial of their worth. This is why their anger flared so intensely. It wasn't just about what they lost, it was about what your decision said about them. Bitterness became their shield, their way of masking the pain they couldn't process. They told themselves stories to justify their anger. You were arrogant, ungrateful, or too blind to see their value. These narratives weren't just coping mechanisms. They were weapons, meant to diminish you in their minds and defend the fragile egos that your rejection had wounded. This initial fury often manifests in attempts to discredit you. Whether through gossip, subtle digs, or outright confrontation, their actions reveal their need to undermine you. They want to see you falter, not because it would bring them peace, but because it would validate their narrative. In their eyes, your failure would mean their rejection wasn't justified. It was a mistake. But there's a deeper truth to their anger. Their inability to move on isn't just about you, it's about them. Rejection has a way of unearthing insecurities they've long buried, forcing them to confront parts of themselves they'd rather ignore. Instead of facing these truths, they project their pain onto you, blaming you for the feelings they can't escape. Anger becomes their anchor, keeping them rooted in the moment of rejection. They replay your decision in their minds, dissecting every detail, trying to find a way to rewrite the past. But this fixation only deepens their wounds. The more they dwell on what they've lost, the more they're consumed by the fire of their own bitterness. Curiosity begins to intertwine with their anger. They start watching you, not just to see you fail, but to understand how you're thriving without them. This mix of envy and unresolved emotions keeps them tethered to your life, unable to move forward. It's a toxic cycle, one that drains their energy while you continue to ascend. Their fury is their undoing. While they expend their energy on resentment, you channel yours into growth. Their inability to move on only highlights the power of your decision. By rejecting them, you didn't just set boundaries, you set yourself free. Rejection leaves some people bitter, but bitterness alone isn't enough to soothe the sting. For those you've rejected, stalking and sabotage become their misguided methods of coping. In their minds, your failure would validate their worth, serving as proof that your rejection of them was a mistake. What they fail to understand is that their attempts to bring you down only expose their own vulnerabilities. They operate from the shadows, spreading rumors, sowing doubt, and subtly undermining you wherever they can. It's a desperate effort to drain your energy, to disrupt your momentum. They mistakenly believe that by tarnishing your name, they can reclaim their power. But you, the chosen one, are built to withstand these attacks. Their negativity can't pierce the armor of your purpose. Think of the myth of Perseus and Medusa. Those who gazed too closely at the Gorgon met their demise, turned to stone by their own arrogance. Similarly, those who focus their energy on stalking your life fail to realize that their obsession is a double-edged sword. By fixating on your success, they blind themselves to their own opportunities for growth. Their sabotage isn't just external, it's internal. Every ounce of energy they spend on you is energy they could be using to build themselves. They don't see it this way, of course. In their minds, your downfall would somehow redeem them, proving that your rejection was unfair or short-sighted. But instead of finding redemption, they entangle themselves in a cycle of envy and frustration. Your spiritual strength becomes their greatest frustration. No matter how hard they try to sabotage you, your resilience turns their negativity into fuel. They see your ability to rise above their tactics, and it enrages them. Each milestone you reach becomes another reminder of their own shortcomings. This is where their efforts backfire. The more they focus on your life, the less they invest in their own. It's like trying to block the sun with their hands, an absurd and futile endeavor. Your light continues to shine, undimmed by their interference, while they remain trapped in the shadows of their own insecurities. Their obsession becomes their prison. While they're busy plotting your failure, you're achieving new heights. The energy they expend trying to hold you back only serves to highlight their own stagnation. Their attempts to sabotage you aren't just ineffective, they're self-destructive. In the end, their actions reveal a truth they can't escape. Your rejection wasn't just a reflection of incompatibility, it was a necessary separation. Their energy leaks, their stalking and their sabotage are proof that your decision to walk away was the right one. They never expected you to rise. When you rejected them, They envisioned your life as a steady decline, a slow unraveling that would prove their worth in your absence. But instead of falling, you soared. Your growth, resilience, and undeniable brilliance caught them off guard, leaving them reeling in the wake of your ascension. The truth is, they anticipated a front-row seat to your failure, not your transformation. They wanted to see cracks in your foundation, missteps that would justify their bitterness. What they encountered instead was your evolution, a display of superpowers they never imagined you possessed. Your ability to endure challenges and emerge stronger is nothing short of miraculous to them. They see your resilience, the way you turn setbacks into stepping stones, and they can't comprehend how you've thrived without them. Each success, each milestone, is a reminder that their absence didn't weaken you, it strengthened you. This shock doesn't just stem from envy, it's rooted in disbelief. They underestimated you, perhaps because they projected their own limitations onto you. To them, your rise feels almost supernatural, as though you're operating on a plane they can't access. They watch bewildered as you navigate life with a clarity and confidence they never imagined possible. Their obsession deepens as they try to decode the source of your power. Is it luck, hard work, divine favor? They replay moments in their mind trying to pinpoint the exact reason why you're thriving. But the answer isn't one they can grasp. It lies in your ability to align with your purpose, to harness rejection as a catalyst for growth. This is where your superpowers truly shine. Your capacity to transform pain into purpose, doubt into determination, and rejection into redirection leaves them in awe. They wanted to witness your downfall, but instead they're watching a spectacle of resilience that forces them to confront their own mediocrity. Their shock turns into a quiet acknowledgement, though they may never admit it aloud. They begin to see that your rise isn't about proving them wrong. It's about staying true to your path. This realization is both humbling and haunting for them, as it highlights the disparity between your growth and their stagnation. In witnessing your ascension, they come face to face with the truth they've been avoiding. Your superpowers were never meant to prove anything to them. They were always meant to elevate you, to set you apart, and to show the world that you were never defined by who stayed or who left. Chosen ones, the Obsidian inner order is calling. Only the strongest survive the matrix and live to tell it. Welcome to the ultimate sanctuary for those who've faced archons, shattered the matrix, and risen as untouchable legends. If you're seeing this, destiny thinks you're one of us. Don't blow it. Inside, we've got exclusive interviews with chosen ones who've defied odds, broken generational curses, and rewritten their reality with divine timing. This isn't your average story time. This is the blueprint to your cosmic glow-up. Unlock forbidden content too real for YouTube, including the Manifestation Mechanics Grimoire, your guide to turning chaos into order, creating an abundance vortex, and bending universal energy to your will. The Crown Jewel, a private Discord of 400+ high-vibration legends, weekly mindset calls, and even chosen singles for divine partnerships. But let's be real, we don't do poses here. If you're ready to join the #1 Ascension Nexus for real chosen ones, the link to the Obsidian Inner Order is in the description. This is your moment. Step up. Regret is a silent specter, creeping in when the noise of anger and bitterness begins to fade. For those you rejected, this haunting emotion takes root the moment they see the reality of your rise. They start to realize that their mistreatment of you wasn't just cruel. It was a profound misstep that cost them a chance to stand alongside greatness. Their regret isn't immediate. It grows slowly, fed by the stark contrast between your success and their own stagnation. At first, it's a fleeting thought, a whisper of doubt in the back of their minds. But as they watch you achieve more, the whisper becomes a roar, an unrelenting reminder of how poorly they treated you. This regret is not born out of empathy or a newfound understanding of their actions. Instead, it's rooted in self-interest. They wonder what might have been if they'd treated you differently, if they'd supported you instead of undermining you. The regret is a question they can't escape. What if? This question becomes a shadow, following them wherever they go. Every time they see your success, it whispers, what if you had stayed loyal? What if you had believed in them? What if you had acted differently? These whispers grow louder with every milestone you reach, turning their regret into a constant companion. Their regret also forces them to confront the truth about themselves. They see now that their actions weren't just a betrayal of you. They were a reflection of their own insecurities. Their mistreatment of you was a projection of their fears, doubts, and inadequacies. Your rise holds up a mirror to these flaws, making it impossible for them to look away. This realization is devastating for them. They begin to understand that their rejection wasn't a mark against you. It was a mark against their own character. You didn't need their approval or validation to succeed. In fact, their absence only highlighted your ability to thrive. Their regret is compounded by the knowledge that they could have been part of your journey, but chose instead to be an obstacle. The weight of their mistreatment becomes unbearable as they watch you continue to rise. They see now that your rejection of them wasn't just a boundary. It was a necessary act of self-preservation. And while you've moved forward, free from their negativity, they remain stuck, shackled by the consequences of their actions. In the end, their regret is their punishment. It serves as a reminder that the way they treated you wasn't just a reflection of who you were at the time. It was a test of their ability to recognize greatness, and they failed. Your success isn't just a celebration of your resilience, it's a mirror that forces them to confront themselves. Every achievement you reach shines a light on their unfulfilled potential, reflecting their choices, insecurities, and the life they could have had if they had walked a different path. This reflection is not just humbling, it's deeply unsettling. To them, your glow is undeniable. It illuminates not only your superpowers, but also the stark differences between your journey and theirs. Each step you take forward reminds them of their stagnation. Every victory amplifies their losses, and every triumph becomes a question they can't answer. Why couldn't that be me? This mirror doesn't lie. It shows them the truth they've avoided for so long, that their failures aren't tied to your rejection of them, but to their own unwillingness to grow. Your success strips away the excuses they've clung to, exposing the choices they made to remain comfortable rather than face the challenges of self-improvement. The weight of this realization is crushing. They see your light and know that it comes from a place they can no longer access. It's not just about missed opportunities. It's about the courage you had to embrace rejection and use it as a stepping stone while they allowed it to chain them to the past. Your success doesn't just highlight their lack of growth. It reflects their inner turmoil. The choices they made, the bridges they burned, and the negativity they harbored are all laid bare in the glow of your achievements. They are left staring into a reflection that shows their unfulfilled potential, and it stings. But here's the irony. Their obsession with you keeps them tethered to this mirror. Instead of turning away to focus on their own growth, they remain fixated on your journey, unable to escape the truth it reveals. They can't look at you without seeing what they lack, yet they can't stop looking either. Your success is more than a mirror, it's a reminder. It reminds them of the power they once underestimated, the potential they ignored, and the greatness they tried to diminish. It doesn't just reflect your glow, it magnifies their insecurities. And so, while you continue to rise, they remain trapped in this reflection, unable to break free from the cycle of regret and envy. Your success is a testament to your strength, but to them it's a reminder of their failure, a reflection they can't escape and a truth they can't ignore. Obsession is a double-edged sword. For those who fixate on you, their inability to let go becomes their undoing. What they meant for harm, what they hoped would derail you, turns into their own prison. This is the essence of divine justice. Their obsession doesn't harm you, it binds them. Every moment they spend watching you, every ounce of energy they pour into resentment and sabotage is energy stolen from their own growth. While they hope to see you stumble, their fixation keeps them stagnant, tethered to the bitterness of the past. You, on the other hand, thrive because you've learned to focus forward, untouched by their negativity. Their obsession creates a cycle they cannot escape. Their envy fuels their actions, but their actions only deepen their envy. They wanted to see you fail, but their constant attention instead amplifies your success in their eyes. It's a cruel irony. The more they try to diminish you, the more they magnify their own inadequacies. Think of it as divine justice in motion. What they aim to use against you, rumors, doubt, negativity, becomes their burden to carry. They wanted to see you lose, but instead they lose themselves in their obsession. Their inability to let go becomes a self-inflicted wound, a constant reminder of their failure to move on. Meanwhile, your rise continues, unshaken. The divine hand that shields you ensures that their plans backfire, turning their attempts at harm into opportunities for your growth. It's not just poetic, it's purposeful. Every attack they launch is met with a lesson that strengthens you, a victory that silences their doubts. This justice doesn't stop at your success, it extends to their lives as well. While they are busy plotting and watching, life moves on without them. Opportunities slip away, relationships falter, and their own potential withers under the weight of their fixation. Their obsession becomes a thief, robbing them of the very things they hope to gain by seeing you fall. The ultimate consequence of their obsession is isolation. As they remain stuck in the past, watching you from afar, they grow distant from the people and opportunities around them. Their bitterness alienates them, leaving them alone with the very regrets they tried to outrun. Divine justice isn't about punishment, it's about balance. What they meant for harm, God turned for good. Their obsession may have been intended to hold you back, but instead it propelled you forward, while they remained bound to the shadows of a life they chose to sabotage themselves. Rejection isn't the end of your story. It's a divine redirection, a course correction designed to align you with your true purpose. While those you rejected may view it as a loss, for you, it was a necessary act of preservation. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table, and saying no to the wrong people is how you make room for the right ones. You didn't reject them out of malice. You did it to protect your growth, your peace, and your purpose. Those who fail to understand this see rejection as a punishment, but it's not. It's clarity. It's recognizing that not everyone is meant to walk the path you're on, and that's okay. Rejection also reveals superpowers you didn't know you had. It strengthens your boundaries, sharpens your vision, and teaches you the value of discernment. Every time you said no, you were saying yes to yourself, to your growth, and to the greatness waiting for you. The beauty of rejection is that it works in your favor, even when it's painful. Those who didn't align with your purpose weren't just wrong for you, they were distractions. By letting them go, you cleared the path for your ascension, free from the weight of people who couldn't see your worth. And yet, the lesson of rejection isn't just about your rise, it's about their fall. Those who were rejected by you had a choice: to grow from the experience or to be consumed by it. Their inability to move on is a testament to their failure to learn this lesson. While you used rejection as fuel, they allowed it to become their chain. In the end, rejection isn't a loss, it's a gift. It separates those who are meant to stay from those who were only meant to teach you a lesson. It reminds you that your worth isn't determined by who accepts you, but by how you honor your own path.